Great. This is a monthly call between the CEO of Gitlab, me, and the incubation engineers. Incubation is a way to have people do kind of full stack, all the way from marketing, what you're going to do, to making it, to documenting it, to promoting it.
All right, I have the first item. There's a question for you, Sid. A couple of weeks ago, we had Google I/O, and they announced AlloyDB for Postgres. And it has me very excited, but it also has a few people in our infrastructure team excited because they're looking at the implications of AlloyDB and its performance improvements that it could bring for .com. So my question, did you get a chance to look at AlloyDB? Any thoughts on this in general?
No, I haven't looked at it. Is it kind of a Postgres engine on top of BigQuery, or what is it?
Okay, it is fully compatible with Postgres. They define it as a fully managed Postgres compatible service. And the differentiator is the performance versus traditional Postgres. So if I may share my screen and just, am I allowed to? Oh, if somebody could share the screen and go to the website that is linked in the document, because could somebody do that for me?
I can do it. 1 sec. Okay.
Yeah, perfect. So this is how they describe it, and fully compatible with Postgres, superior performance, 4x faster than standard for transactional workloads, fast real-time insights, 100x faster analytical queries, transparent predictable pricing, and simplified management.
Well, first of all, super great news. I think Postgres is the winning database right now. And its shortcoming is it's not a columnar store, so it doesn't do analytical things fast. That's why we just added ClickHouse to GitLab development kit. But it seems that this service kind of, you get the best of both worlds. You get the transactions and analytical part, which would be amazing.
Cool. Follow up, as you probably know, as part of Cloud Seed, we're looking at Cloud SQL for Postgres and MySQL. I'm in that POC right now, but I'm also looking, how easy is it to replicate that effort for AlloyDB? Just FYI, no promises, but I will keep you posted.
Cool.
The next item, Yanis.
So let's stick with databases. I was pretty excited about Cloudflare's announcement with D1, which is basically an offering from Cloudflare running SQLite on the edge. And I think this is a super great idea. I had been thinking about there should be something like that anyway, a couple of weeks ago. I want to leverage that for Jamstack applications because it offers itself very easily to create like simple database applications that don't require the whole Postgres setup and prefer performance over consistency. So I've reached out to Cloudflare to get access to that D1. And I want to build a POC where you can basically build your own API in the UI, query that with GraphQL, so offer it as a GraphQL API, and have users use that in simple static sites. Any thoughts?
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense to me. Computers going to the edge, including the data store. This is exciting. Good for them for choosing SQLite, which is amazing. So, great idea. The thing that I have something alternative that's maybe unrelated, but I can't help but suggesting it.
Yes, please.
We have we've seen a couple of PaaS services become very popular. Netlify with Netlify CMS, Vercel with Next.js.
Yeah.
But it seems that there's a new up and coming framework called Remix. The latest Next.js was greatly inspired by it. And they don't have a service yet. Maybe they will. But I think there's an opportunity now to say, hey, this is a really good place to host your Remix app. And it might not be so much about technical things, although we might need technical things for that. But I think it's also about tutorials, like how to quickly set something up and everything else. I think judging by kind of Hacker News and Twitter, there's a lot of excitement about Remix and the imperatives that it has. And I think it's a great marketing opportunity. So that would be the suggestion.
I agree. I fully agree. I mean, this ties in. I think D1 would be a great backend complement to Remix, because Remix offers basically an API as well. So it's great if it's running on a Cloudflare worker. So utilizing D1 makes a ton of sense in that regard. Let me have a think about that, whether we can couple that more tightly.
Cool. Thanks for considering. Appreciate it.
Eduardo, you have a follow-up, but first Hannes's point number 4.
And I want to go a bit into AlloyDB. So it seems the main idea is to make the write-ahead log the primary persistence layer. That's interesting. What do people think about that?
Isn't that like a concept that is similar to change data capture?
Yep. It feels a bit Kafka-esque, as in Kafka.
Yeah, I was just thinking. Like this sounds like it becomes like a standard in data distribution when you have to extract from operational stores.
Cool. I'll put a link in under to see.
That would, by the way, be great for us as well. If we think about our warehouse, like replicate, like taking the bin logs and replicate them.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah, thanks for the link. Hannes, you have question number 4.
Bit away from databases. Historically, GitLab was not always a view application, and it isn't today. There's a bit of fragmentation on the front-end side, and I've heard from a few sides that there are some issues, that there are some things we can't do, like we can't make GitLab's front-end perfect because we can't do server-side rendering, for example, and therefore reduce initial page load times because it's not a single-page application. Do you think we should aim towards like a uniform front-end stack mid to long term, or maybe even short term?
I think what my understanding is, and I'm saying it so people can argue with it and falsify it. So about 80% of our page views are in Vue, but like 20% of our pages, like the technical pages, the endpoints are in Vue. That's because making something in Vue is a lot harder. So it's a lot more time and effort. So it's a lot easier to just make it a simple Rails page, a multi-page app, an MPA. So I think the asking like, hey, should we make entire GitLab a single page app? It's like, I'm not sure. It seems like a hell of a lot of work that would make GitLab harder. A lot of work, make GitLab harder to maintain, make GitLab harder to contribute to, make GitLab harder to improve. Now, I might be off there, but that's my understanding. That being said, I don't understand why you can't have SPAs and MPAs. We have multi-page app feel in GitLab. We have a single page app feel in GitLab. I don't know why that's prohibiting server side aesthetic, or what is it? Server side generation of the view pages. I don't get the technical argument for that. Like, what does it matter that some other page in the app there does require to go something new?
Like technically, I think server-side rendering needs to be able to process every route that you're sending towards it, and it needs like a render server put in front, like a proxy in front of the actual Rails application, which seems a huge effort because you have to process JavaScript somehow. It's technically hard, I think, but I'm currently experiencing issues where we have a fragmented front end that kind of gets in the way. And I'm just curious if we thrive towards a uniform front end, like we have multiple editors, for example, like TipTap is the newest one. Then we have text areas.
So I think there's two things that I'm hearing. First of all, if you want to do that kind of server-side renderer, I'm sure there's a way to tell it to deal with the Rails app. Like the Rails app already gives it. In that case, it's a pass-through. Don't do anything else.
Yeah.
Load all the JavaScript and render it. That doesn't seem hard to me. Like if you got the Rails, if it's an MPA, you just do that. So I'm sure there's a way to support the to make sure we can do server-side rendering, even though not every single page is in Vue. That seems like a solvable technical problem to me.
Yeah.
Then the second thing you mentioned, multiple editors, completely different problem, but something that is much more low-hanging fruit to solve. Like that seems like something we should strive to fix. Not sure how. We just had a blog post out. We're moving the web IDE to VS Code, which is super exciting. Does that mean that every single editor in GitLab is going to be VS Code? I don't know, but there does seem to be a bit of fragmentation that probably has great reasons, but we should scrutinize and maybe solve.
Thanks for that. I have a super short update because
I want to add one thing. They asked the creators of Ghost what would have been, how fast it would have gone if it was built in Laravel, the PHP framework. And they said, oh, we would have had like many, many more features in the app. So it just takes a lot longer in Node and with the single page app kind of framework. So I think again and again, I see front-end people kind of not acknowledging that single page app is like a great drain on maintainability and feature velocity. And I do think that's still true.
I'm not sure if you're aware, but we're going to ship the Y Ruby champ. So it brings conflict-free replicated data types to Ruby. And there's a handbook page now about real-time editing. And that's
Great.
it.
Looking forward to that.
Okay, for my, it's just a follow-up on these questions that we're talking about, like this foundational initiatives across code base. What's the role of incubation engineers in those? Is something that we should strive for to kickstart across the company as well when we see something, or it would be better if we stay away of this to focus on our specific areas?
So first of all, like we're a company of everyone can contribute. So if you see something that's off, like, oh my goodness, why do we have so many different editors? Like talk about it, make a proposal. Second, your title is staff engineer or a staff developer. Like from staff and up, we expect even more of these kind of cross-company initiatives. That being said, I don't think it's the typical area for incubation engineering to kind of come with something that then all the groups outside of incubation engineering have to do. Suppose we're talking about the editors. And I'm going to assume that all the editors, none of it is incubation engineering. All the editors are from like the web IDE team and everything else, all outside of incubation engineering. So I don't think it's a natural fit for incubation engineering to drive kind of, I don't know, technical standardization within the company.
Just an example. I was working on feature flags. Part of what I was working on, like I was doing a little bit more observability over the feature flags that we have. Because I don't know, I missed this a lot from from my past work, being able to just create a feature flag and see the difference in performance between the different, almost like running feature flags and A/B test. And it does, for us, it's a little bit better even because we get full autonomy to kind of push this forward. But at the same time, well, it's not MLOps, it's not mobile, it's not real time. Just this kind of like managing these expectations or what is expected from us in the first place.
Yeah. So we have feature flag functionality in GitLab itself. Is that what we're using as GitLab too?
No, we offer Unleashed. We use feature flag, and we have experiments now. So 3 things kind of.
So sorry, can you write that down? So we offer Unleashed. We use something called feature flags, confusingly. And then there's a third thing. I didn't get the third thing.
So I added 2
Experiments.
links.
Thanks for the links.
Yeah, so the third thing is experiments, which is A/B testing. Of course, different use case, but an A/B test can always be a feature flag, super powered feature flag, because then you get observability over the feature flag in itself, right?
And is that one using one or the other?
Development usually uses feature flag. Experiments is more for, they are using more to explore ideas or explore hypotheses that we are having about anything, not really for technical changes. So technical changes is a lot more short-lived feature flags.
Actually, the experiment framework which we are using is based on Flipper, which is the feature flag solution we use in GitLab project. On customers node, we use the Unleash, GitLab's customer offering feature flag. So experiments use already GitLab feature flags, which are based on Flipper. And Unleash-based feature flags, which is the GitLab product offering, is used in some projects in GitLab, like customers node, just to clarify.
Thanks, Alper.
Cool. If there aren't any more questions and comments for the public stream, I have a question that might be suitable for a private